What's long, hot, crispy, and delicious when it's dipped in salted caramel sauce? A churro, of course. What else did you think I was talking about? The best thing about churros is just how few ingredients you really need to make them. And contrary to popular belief, you shouldn't be using eggs in your churros if you want them extra crispy. But what I am going to be using today is a light Muscovado sugar to dust them and inside, and we're going to dip them in a light Muscovado caramel sauce. Yum! So the first ingredient we're going to add is your butter or margarine, and we're going to let that melt. So once the butter is melted, we're going to add the water and a little bit of vanilla, just to add some flavor. So while this looks like it's starting off as a choux pastry, it's not really. It's much thicker. It's a very, very stiff dough, and of course we're not going to put the eggs in. So we're going to let this boil. Woo! Facial. Okay, now we're gonna add, we've got baking powder and flour, which we're gonna add all at once. I was kind of confused about what I'm gonna do there. I was like, should I add it to there first? And then, yeah, I'll have to. Okay, we're gonna add the baking powder into our flour. And then we're gonna add all of this dry ingredients. All of this dry. Wow. And then we're gonna add all of these dry ingredients together all at once. Boom. And mix. By adding it all at once, the butter coats the flour and stops it from forming lumps. So you're gonna mix and it's gonna form a nice ball. You know it's ready when it starts pulling away from the sides. So it's going to be quite a stiff dough, but you're on the right track if that's what it looks like. Ugh, this is hard work. Okay, that's ready. I'm going to turn off the heat. And now it's going to go into a piping bag, which I don't have. Thanks, Sophia. A piping bag fitted with a star nozzle. I'm going to use one of these today because the plastic ones, I'm just worried this is a bit warm and it's quite stiff and they can sometimes tear and break, and that's not what I want. So we're just gonna pop this dough into the piping bag. And now we're ready to pipe. Oh, there we go. Yeah. While I'm waiting for the oil to heat, we're looking at about 180 degrees. That's the perfect temperature to fry the churros. I'm going to make the dipping sugar. Is that what you would call it? A dipping sugar. And you would normally toss churros in caster sugar or quite a fine sugar, but I want to like amp up the amount of flavor that I'm putting in these churros. So I'm going to be using the Natura Sugar's light Muscovado sugar. It's a medium bodied sugar. It's unrefined. It's non-GMO, and it's got no syrups or anything. All the flavor in this sugar is what comes naturally in the cane sugar. It's got this really like fudgy kind of rich flavor, and it's gonna work so well with these churros. I'm using about 100 grams. You see this texture? Oh, it's just beautiful. I wanna like make a sand castle out of it. Is that weird? Probably. So I'm gonna add some ground cinnamon just to complement the flavors in the sugar. And then this is what we're going to toss the churros in as soon as they come out of the oil. Okay, so our oil is at 180. And now we're gonna pipe the mixture into the hot oil. You're gonna need a pair of scissors. And let's do this. So the mixture is quite thick, so it's right if it's very, very thick. So here goes. I'm gonna make mine quite long. And then you're gonna snip. It's gonna fit.
How many can you do in a pot?
I'm gonna do about 3 in a pot. I don't think you should overcrowd it because obviously the more you put into the oil, the lower your temperature drops, and then they're just gonna suck up the oil and be oily and gross. Nobody likes an oily churro. Look at this color. So I'm just gonna drain them on paper towel briefly, and then while they're still hot, that was hot. I'm gonna pop them into the sugar and cover them so that they soak up all that deliciousy goodness. Oh, I can't wait to eat these. Crunchy. It's so good. Just make it. Just make it. Oh. Oh, and if you want the recipe for the sauce, this is how I made it. Definitely better with the sauce. And contrary to Bob, contrary.
It's gonna lay over like elevator music.